Hi and welcome to I Design My Life. I'm Sumit and I'm a life and a mind coach. So today I'm going to talk about success and the common points of failure. I receive a lot of requests where people say, what is it we need to do to succeed? Now see, that is a very fair question. However, we need to take a step back and understand why is it we are not succeeding in the first place. It's just like, let's say you come to me and say, I have got headache, give me a medicine. Now I can always give you a medicine, but the question is it going to cure the symptom or is it going to cure the disease? So it is always a good idea to understand the disease so that you can get rid of it from the root itself. And that is the basic premise of creating this video. So in today's video, we are going to look at the common points of failure where people actually get stuck and they do not realize that this is where they are not able to succeed. When I work with my clients, this is a kind of an organized list which I use. So if you're not succeeding or if you want to help someone to succeed, it is always a good idea to go through this video. As always, along with this video, I'm giving you a document which you can utilize to actually identify what are the levels at which you are not succeeding. It might be 1 point or it might be multiple points. What that will do is that will give you a fair idea as to where you have to attack if you want to succeed. The way this video is divided is I'm going to talk about each layer of success. So initially, I will look at the core points of failure and I call this as OPA: outcome, purpose and action. These are the three major places where most of the people falter or most of the organizations falter as well. If we are failing, we fail at either of these levels. So I'm going to take each and every level and discuss the important points over there. So let's start with the outcome. What do we mean by outcomes? The outcome is what is it we want to achieve. It has to be clearly defined. If you do not have a clearly defined outcome, there is a good chance that you're not going to proceed forward towards your goal, because it's like you getting out of the house without knowing the exact location where you have to go. So when you put your location in Google, it creates a map, creates a road for you to reach to the exact location. And you give the exact location to Google, only then it is able to help you out. And it's the same exercise with our outcomes. Our outcomes have to be clearly defined. If you're saying that I want the next promotion, then you need to define what is it you want to become. If you're saying that I want more salary, then you need to define what that salary is. What is that X amount you're looking for? The benefit of this clearly defined outcome is that it gives you a way to break the things and create a path around that. When the outcome is vague, then it's very difficult for you to actually create a path out of it. Point 2, purpose. The purpose have to be clearly defined. If you do not have a purpose of doing something, then you're not going to get there. Now, what do I mean by purpose? See, if I ask you, why do you want to get the promotion? You might just say it will give me more salary and everything. So more often than not, when I work with people, I see that there are a lot of things which come out intellectually. It's their head speaking. But if your purpose is not coming from here, there is a good chance that you're not going to do those things. Let's say you're working in an office environment and you're not performing at your peak levels. What happens is you have been put in a notice period. Now what happens to you? Now a sense of urgency comes in and you have a purpose, and that's where your heart gets involved, because you fear that you might lose your job. And that is the purpose I'm talking about. Your purpose does not have to come from here. It has to come from here. The third important point is actions. You might be missing action. You have clearly defined outcome. You have a purpose as well, but your action is missing. And this happens to so many of us. When I work with clients, I realize that most of them know what needs to be done and they've clearly laid out plans. But when I look and see and work with them, I always see that there are few steps lacking. They are unable to take a start. They are unable to take an action. So let's delve a little deeper into this action bit and understand why we do not take action. Now, if we want to understand action, then basically at a very high level, there are only two reasons why we don't take action. Reason one, we don't like it. Reason two, we don't know how to do it. These are the only two reasons why we delay taking actions. Now let's look at the first reason first. We do not like doing things. Now what could be the reason that we do not like doing things? Now there are multiple layers around it. So let's look at one of these. The task might be boring for you. The task might be a task which you might not have chosen for yourself, or somebody would have imposed that on yourself. Third is that it's too far. You've got a lot of time to actually do it. Then you might not take an action. Now let's look at the second reason. The task is difficult. Now more often than not, we do not take an action if we cannot clearly see how we are going to complete something. Because we do not have that clarity, it becomes very difficult for us to take one step ahead. And that's how we are actually designed, because we look for certainty. So the reason for which we do not take action is we are not confident of our ability to structure and think about the task end to end. That's when we falter and we are actually not taking an action because we don't know how we are going to get there. Just assume Google doesn't show you as to how you're going to reach a place, or you do not have maps. So are you going to take a start? You might do, but most of the people would not do it because they are seeking certainty. And that is the common point of failure when we do not feel confident about something. And that structure, looking at things from end to end, is missing. The second reason we do not do things and we find it difficult to do is because of fear. We fear taking actions. Now, fear can take multiple forms. It might be a fear of success, fear of failure. But ultimately, if you get down to things, you will realize that there are only two kinds of fears. One fear is related to your body, a physical fear, and the second fear is the fear of self-image. So you look up at any fear and you will see that you would be trying to protect your self-image, and that might be stopping you from taking the action. So these are the two important things which come under the category of the things which are difficult to do. Now, once you've cleared these levels, you can go further down and you can look at the environment. The environment in which you are working, does it really support you? Is the environment being set up for you to succeed? Another big point where people feel that they're getting stuck is the habits. They say that they do not have habits which are conducive for them to move towards their goal. They've got bad habits, their behaviors are not aligned. So this is something you might want to look at. A lot of people do not succeed at this level as well, and this is a common point of failure. The other thing where you would be failing would be your core level. When I say core, there are two layers. The layers of beliefs and values, as well as your core identity or the self-image as to who you are as a person. Your beliefs or values might be stopping you from getting to where you want to. Or you might be carrying a bad self-image about yourself, that I do not succeed. I know the things which I have to do, however, I don't do it. So these are all statements of low self-confidence. Unfortunately, most of the people are blocked over here, but it's very difficult to actually get into yourself and look at these without any bias in it, because this is a blind spot. So that's where I believe that you need external help. And also what you need is trained help. You do not want to go and speak to your friends and your family members. I'm sure that they think about your best. However, there would be biases involved when they're going to give you a feedback. So guys, these are the failure points that we need to look at. Please download the document. It contains all the details and everything which I've talked about. Work through the documents and identify the areas where you might be failing. And then see what is it you can do about them. So guys, let me quickly summarize the entire session for you over here. We fail at 3 levels if we haven't got clearly defined outcomes, if our purpose is not coming from our heart and our gut is not involved in that, we do not feel strongly about it, and then if we are not taking actions. If we are not taking actions, then there are 2 levels at which we need to look at things. Either the things are difficult for us to do, or we do not like doing those things. And there are further reasons for that, and the workbook is going to help you over there. So guys, this is it for this session. Say to yourself, I am responsible for my life. I design my life.